Welcome and welcome back. It's another amazing day in paradise. Happy Monday. It is Monday, February 16th. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for investing your time here, thinking and believing that anything that I have to say is worth your time and effort of listening. I'm going to invite you to increase the playback speed if you haven't already. It's what I do on the majority of the videos that I watch that are spoken videos. And so it helps to hold my attention. So I just invite you to do the same. I got to stop doing that. But it's real because it's in the moment and it's live. I'm just recording from my heart. This is part 2 of the series. This part is called B3C with me. So the first part is Educate the Vote, where it's a learning series, and this part is the action part of the series, but I'm providing information essentially, right? And this is part 2 of the overall series that I am now calling My Billet Doux to Parents, Children, Youth, and Young Adults. It's gotten a little bit longer. I've added some people to it because I realize that I'm always advocating for parents. Like if I'm advocating for children, like the most important thing I could be doing is advocating for their parents, because their parents are the ones that are going to lead them. Children don't, it takes a village, but that village should start with support for the parents so that they can be the first person for their child. And so I'm really passionate about that. And I realized that with me sending a love letter out to children, that seemed kind of crazy because I want to send it out to the parents, and I want the parents to be delivering it to the children. I don't necessarily want it to come from me unless there's someone out here who needs a mama. And that's me, And so today I want to talk a little bit. So far I've talked about the science of scaling. I've talked about my first impossible goal, which is to invite 329,000 people to engage with me in the next, from February 13th to March 13th. And that's kind of the how it's going in my mind. So that's 4 days, but this is only the third video. And so today, what I wanted to talk about in this action plan is kind of where what I'm doing came from. No. I want it where B3C with me. I want to talk about what that means. Because there's kind of 2 parts of it, but because this video is already almost 3 minutes, I'm going to keep it short. I'll do the first part. So my 3 C's are committed, compassionate, and crazy. And these each take on a level of participation that I will explain later. But for now, what B3C with me means is that you're going to take one of those C's and that I have, and then you're going to bring your own 2 into the picture, because I need people with variety. I don't want everybody to have 3 C's like me, the same 3 C's that I have. I need people we need a diverse group of people that can have, so we can have all different kind of C's, right? But I really want to be clear about what C means. The C's mean committed to me means that I'm committed to highlighting the best and addressing the mess here in Raleigh. Now that might sound familiar because that's how I talk about my emancipated parenting. I can use it wherever I want. I just want to let you know that. But that's how I'm using it, because that's what's necessary at this time. We've got to highlight the best and address the mess here in Raleigh, right? And the second one is compassionate. Now, a lot of people call themselves compassionate, but compassionate, I looked up the word compassion when I was studying the parable of the exceptional Samaritan. And this parable, God told me to do this. And it was an intimate study because I used Google and God. Whatever I didn't have a clear understanding of, I looked it up. So there were several words that I looked up when I was reading that parable. And I should say, most people call it the parable of the Good Samaritan, which is found in Luke 10. I called the Samaritan exceptional because he was so much more than good. And I'm going to talk about this because what we do in this experience, we want to do it with Samaritan style. And so I will explain what that means. But in the meantime, compassion by definition is having empathy for the suffering that people are going through, coupled with a strong desire to alleviate that suffering. So you might not have the capacity to alleviate the suffering, but as long as you have a strong desire to alleviate the suffering, and that second part of the definition, the strong desire to alleviate the suffering, actually comes from dictionary.com. And so that is, to me, like the key piece. And what our compassion then leads to is mercy. And it's not just any kind of mercy, it's the mercy that ends the suffering. It's not a blanket kind of mercy, which we see a lot which we see a lot nowadays, where we're like, oh, well, this is what I can do, so this is what I'm going to give, even if it doesn't meet the need of the person. And what we need is the mercy that meets the need of the person, that ends the suffering. And so that's what I mean by compassionate. I have that capacity to have that empathy and also the strong desire to alleviate the suffering. And then the last part, I say I'm crazy. And there are people that will tell you I'm like the cuckoo kind of crazy. I already know that I'm not. I have a very sound mind. And, just in joke, but the reason why I use the word crazy actually comes from Steve Jobs, who was the founder of Apple, co-founder, whoever. He was in Apple, in Apple, out of Apple, back in Apple. But there was an Apple commercial, and part of it said that the ones who are crazy enough to believe or to think they can change the world are the ones they do. And I'm that kind of crazy. I haven't thought that kind of crazy, haven't felt that way all my life, but at some point in my youth, I feel like the number 18 keeps coming in my head. God told me that this was my path, that I was going to do stuff to change the world. And I was like, I was not who I was then when I was feeling that way is not who I am now. But the thing about being crazy enough to think you can change the world, or being crazy enough to think I can change the world, is that I'm crazy enough to think I can change the world. I'm just not crazy enough to think I can do it by myself. And so this is not a solo effort. It can't be a solo effort because I cannot. It's impossible to just think that you can change the world all on your own. We weren't designed to. That's why God created communities. That's why the proverb says it takes a village to raise a child, because we do need each other. And so I'm inviting you to believe with me that you are crazy enough to change the world, and you're just looking for the right people to change it with, and all the good ways that it needs to be changed, so that people have the capacity to have their needs met, to live up to the measure of creation that God saw them capable of. And so that's what I'm working on, and I'm excited about it. So I invite you to be 3C with me. Choose one of those and figure out two of your own. Maybe it's your cool, maybe it's your concerned, maybe it's your caring, maybe it's your creative, maybe it's your chill. Like, we need all kinds. Are you calm? Because that will help me. Are you connected to a larger community? Are you connected to yourself, and you can invite other people into your space? And are you good at co-regulating? Like, we need all that in our community. And so I will explain more about the 3Cs and how they look as far as levels of participation, so that when you choose one, then you can also bring your own two into the mix. And with that, I just say thank you again for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your engagement, and look forward to us creating the future that we want for ourselves, as well as for our children to inherit and then thrive from, and then lead, right? And so that's it. Enjoy the amazing day you're creating. Peace.